I spent the last 7 days living in this Japanese home here in the countryside. This is owned by my friend Kajiya-san, who bought this as an Akiya or abandoned home, renovated it, and now he uses it for his interns and when people like family or friends come to stay with him. So we're getting into the prices that he paid for this, and it's a pretty good property. It actually includes this house, this building, and the building right behind me here, which he uses for a lot of his farming equipment. So let's get inside and show you a bunch of the differences and how you actually live in a Japanese home. One of the big differences in a Japanese home is that there is a lot of different rooms. This is sort of like a relaxing hangout room, and it's got the tatami mat floor, which is made of bamboo. So it kind of has like a squishiness to it. It's really soft. You can actually sleep in this room. You just put down a nice little pad, have your blanket. And this house does not have any air conditioning. So in many Japanese homes, the old ones, they're gonna have this outer room that separates the inside from the outside. So one of the things I did every day was at night, I'd make sure that these windows were open and then get all that cool air inside. And then in the morning, at 9 or 10 a.m. when it starts to heat up, I'd come shut the windows and close off these doors, and then that would really block out the heat that would try to come in here. So even though this is like just single pane glass, or another way is just there's like rice paper on these, it actually does a surprisingly good job of holding in the heat and insulating things. That's something I've learned about living in a Japanese home is you use all the doors and all the rooms to your advantage. So if you go through this right here, here's another room. So in this room, just another sleeping room, one of his cousins came and stayed with us one of the nights, and they slept in here. And you can go through this door. Here's another room, tatami room. We'll check out the upstairs later, and let's go see the room that we were sleeping in. So inside of this room, they've got carpet, a lot of carpet in this house, which is kind of interesting. So they'd either have carpet or they would have wood floors. And if it has wood floors, they call it a Western room. And then the Japanese style room, of course, is the tatami room. So just real basic in here. You got the curtains. And let's check out the bathrooms, and then I'll tell you how much he paid for this place. So this is one of the areas that he renovated. So all new cabinetry, new toilet, and they just redid all of this. So in Japan, the toilets are pretty fancy, and this one, I don't really like to use it, but there's a bidet thing on here that you can spray yourself with, and you even have like a little extra hose for cleaning things. So in a Japanese home, the toilet is almost always going to be separate from where the shower is. So inside of here we have a laundry machine, and they dry their clothes out on a line outside or a rack. And this is the other place where he did major renovations. Most Japanese, or all of Japanese bathrooms, are always going to have a tub. They love to take baths, but this is like a Western size. It's really big. Usually they're probably about maybe from here over, so you kind of have to scrunch up to fit inside of it. And just nice bathroom in here. This is also something you'll see in Japan and a lot of Asia and Korea too, that you'll see in the public baths and the private baths. They'll give you like a little stool that you can sit on and wash yourself, and then like a bucket of water that you can fill up and dump over yourself. So I always think that that's kind of interesting. That's something that's different than what we see in the States. And coming through here is another like kind of more central room. He's just got some storage in here. This leads you to the outside. We'll go check out this other house later, but it's kind of cool. He has this all set up for barbecues. He's got a little grill over there. So we had a few different little parties out here and hanging out with people. So now we're gonna walk into the kitchen, and I'll tell you how much he paid for this. So those 3 buildings, the 2 homes, and then that little farm outpost there, he paid basically like around 10,000 US dollars, and then spent around $40,000 to renovate this place. So 50,000 all in to own all those buildings. So that's a pretty incredible price, but these abandoned homes in Japan just aren't worth anything. Homes do not appreciate like they do in the United States. There's not a housing shortage. There's actually a huge housing surplus. There's over 10 million of these abandoned homes currently in Japan as people left the countryside and went into the cities to get jobs, as well as their population, I'm sure you've heard, is declining quite rapidly. And that's the reason for a lot of these abandoned homes. So in the kitchen, you just have a little dining area. And something really cool about Japan, I really like their fridges because you can get ones that are even bigger than this. This is a good size one. And they have a lot more compartments than an American fridge would have. So, you got your big main compartment, double doors like we would have. But then below it, they'll have different drawers for, organizing your things. So these two are both freezers. So ice maker, freezer. Below that is another larger freezer. And then down here is a fridge. So it makes it easy to separate all your different groceries. And I don't know, I just kind of like that style. It was really neat. The sink, nothing too special. There is a garbage disposal here. And typically in a Japanese home, there won't be a dishwasher, but there can be, but they're just quite small compared to what we would have in America. The electric grill here is really nice. This thing heated up really fast. So for this is kind of crazy how it works. So to turn the whole thing on, you press this button. So each of these buttons that you press turn on a different section of the grill here. So this far left one turns on this. So this burner's now on, and then you can press these different buttons to turn up the heat. And it's sensing right now that there's actually nothing here. So it's actually not heating up. And then you just turn it off like that. And no ovens in Japan. That'd be something you have to bring in special. But they do have like a little, it's like a little toaster oven on the inside. So we've been just in tiny apartments the last few weeks, but it's been nice to have access to a really big home where you can kind of stretch out, and it makes it a lot easier to cook in something like this. Let's go to the upstairs now. There's two ways to get to the upstairs in this house. I haven't fully figured it out. It's kind of like a maze. But nothing is set up upstairs. I don't think they really use it, because as you saw, there's so many rooms down there. So up here, it's just more rooms. I mean, a house this size, I mean, it's probably got 10 rooms almost. It's kind of crazy, but they are a bit smaller. And there's another bathroom up here. Also common in Japan and Korea also, you'll see there's slippers for the bathroom. So your feet aren't touching the floor in here. This little view, this is kind of what the neighborhood looks like. We are in the countryside where there's tons of farms. So the neighbors are pretty spread out here. And then, you'll see things like this, like that's a modern built home right there, more Western style. Let's go ahead and check out the other house. You can see his really cool microgreens growing light setup, and I'll show you what that place looks like real quick. Oh, here's another thing that's, I'm 6 foot, so most Japanese homes, the doorways, this one actually I can clear, but the doorways are too short, so I have to constantly bend my head, otherwise I'm gonna hit it, which is kind of annoying. It kind of makes, kind of hurts your neck over time. So one modification I've seen some people do in these homes is to actually raise this up, so it's a bit higher if you're a taller person. Let's check this out. This is actually another upstairs area. So here, just more tatami room. And the other upstairs where we were is right over there, I believe. And there's like an outdoor balcony. So, you could relax up here. And another room. So let's take a peek outside here. So included in that full $10,000 price, he got this other house too. And so this he's just using for his farm. So here he's got a huge fridge where he stores all of his seeds. And then these are all microgreens and different plants that go to fine dining chefs here in Japan. And if you'd like to see the farm tour I did with Kajiya-san, you can see that on the Nature's Always Right YouTube channel. That's my main channel that I make all my videos for. He sells to Michelin 3-star restaurants here in Japan. This is just a very small part of his farm, but this is oxalis. It's kind of a substitute for a citrus flavor. Has a little bitterness to it. It's pretty interesting. So the other really amazing piece to this home is this wood that this building is built with. That's probably 18 inches to 24 inches in width there for those beams. So he was telling me that if he was to pull out of the wood out of this place and sell it, he could probably get $40,000 or something for all the wood, because it's, you know, you can't get wood like this anymore very easily, or it would be extremely expensive. So it's very beautiful. And then I really like on the outside, you can see how it overhangs, and there's no nails used in the construction, so everything's just sitting on itself like this. I think it's just such a cool look. And there's even an upstairs to this building as well, which it's just like the other upstairs I just showed you. So you just go up there and it's just a bunch of different rooms up there. I think Kajiya-san brought in like a American style smoker because he lived in Canada for many years, so it's kind of cool. He's into a bunch of different interesting things. His brother makes pizzas, so they've got a little pizza oven there, and they do a bunch of entertaining in this spot. And then they've just got this really beautiful view looking out to the rice field. If you're somebody who is looking to buy an abandoned house in Japan, those are some of the things that you might experience when buying one. Now, this is a very modern one, so you're not going to have all the different issues that you would from a kominka or the really old Japanese homes. Like, you know, if one of my friends owns one from about 140 years ago, you can see Brian's house in another video